Hey everyone, so this video has been a very long time coming, like ever since I was born, long time coming. It's kind of like one of those days where you kind of just reflect upon your life and, just go through it, I guess. Anyway, so I've had different periods throughout my life. Most of those were periods where I hated myself, I really hated myself. I was the #1 fan of hating myself. And I also had times where I thought that I was better, where I thought, I had more self-esteem and I was happier about my body. But I wasn't really. I thought I was, but deep down I wasn't. I've had many kind of phases within my life, different aspects, I guess you'd call it. Anyway, so I just wanted to make this video to, I don't know, I guess speak out kind of thing. It's very hard in this world where self-esteem is so hard to find, and even harder when you've been in a really bad childhood upbringing. There are many aspects anyway. I didn't really kind of notice how I was deep down inside. It's been a long time coming, and it's funny how certain things can kind of make you think about your life and make you realize, and there have been big things happen to me. Things where I really hated myself for things that I did, things that I said, just certain things within my life. But now I look back and I know that those things, even though they were me, they weren't really me. This may sound odd, but ever since my operation that I had in March, I've kind of gone through a big process where I reevaluated my whole life. It's funny how it can take a huge thing like that to get you on the right track. I've been doing a lot of things to try and help myself before that, but I've completely helped myself now. Well, pretty much anyway. There are certain things that I can still help myself with, obviously, but those things require other help than myself. Anyway, my point is, I was still really hard on myself after surgery because I had this new thing that I was dealing with, this huge shock that just came into my life. And I was scared. I was really scared, and I was terrified, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was terrified of it. But I guess you kind of just, it's something that you just kind of go on with. And I did. Anyway, I eventually got on the right track. I've always had depression and PTSD, along with anxiety disorder and a few other things. Anyway, my point is, after that huge shock of finding out I had no colon and left with a stoma and a stoma bag, I was shocked. I was in a really bad place. My depression got tenfold. It got 10 times worse. It was just horrible. I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. It was horrible. I didn't want to do it. I felt awful about myself. I felt like it was my fault. I felt like everything was my fault. I was to blame for everything. And yeah, I did some things, I wasn't healthy beforehand. But even though I wasn't healthy beforehand, this wasn't my fault. It took me a long time afterwards to realize that, yeah, certain things were my fault, but this whole thing, it wasn't. It was not my fault. I was, you know what I mean? When you're constantly told by other people that everything is your fault, you're to blame for everything, it kind of gets into your brain, and it's kind of like, oh, well, this is my fault, this is me again, you know, and then you start getting so hard on yourself. And I was a mess because of that, and I was a mess because it was just this huge thing. Anyway, I was going downhill, and I was like, I couldn't deal with it. I didn't know what to do, and so I went to the doctors, and I just told my doctor, you know, I really think I need antidepressants. Like, I think I need different antidepressants. And so I was put onto Zoloft, which has helped me tremendously. It's made me become this completely different person. I feel like my true self. That's what I've told people. Like, it's weird. I feel like this is really me. I feel like who I was before wasn't me. It was like I was some weird thing. And this feels like myself. And it's hard to explain unless you're actually feeling the way I feel, etc., which I say so often because it's true. Anyway, I've grown up tremendously. I was already grown up and I was already mature, but this has made me, you know, just completely different. I feel like a woman. I feel like a proper adult. I had childlike tendencies before, but that was just due to, you know, other things within my life. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's made me this whole different person, and I'm glad for it. You know, I was scared. I was so scared, and I was terrified. I really was. And it's funny, like, just going through those moments, you just, even though you're not alone, you feel like you're alone. It was weird. Anyway, the point of my saying this is, I feel so much better about myself. I don't hate myself anymore. There's no more hate. Sure, there are things that I don't particularly like, but there's no more hate. You know, I love myself, not in a bad way, but you know what I mean. Like, I love myself like everyone should, and I feel so much better. You know, I feel like I can tell people things properly and that I can express myself without having this constant dread or fear. And it's been a huge change to my life, and I'm just so happy, and that's why I wanted to do this video, because I wanted to share these thoughts, these experiences with you guys. And yeah, so that's my little vlog video for today. Love you guys. Bye.